One of the biggest challenges when bringing in a new horse is figuring out what they already know. With as much as a gentleman as Eldorado has started out, I was actually a little surprised that leading seemed to be an issue. He follows really well, but I like to be able to see the horse's eye next to my eye when we walk. And this little transition, I really can't figure out if he was taught to paw or if he's just frustrated because he can't understand what I'm asking him to do. But boy, when he commits to line lunging, he is soft and light and really knows how to bend his body around me. This is a pretty advanced execution of what I'm asking him to do. The rescue horses are especially interesting. Some of them have had excellent training in a previous life. Some have had rough experiences that leave them with bad habits or anxiety. Others make it well into their teens without ever receiving much formal training at all. With horses that haven't had much positive interaction, a lot of your job is convincing them that the training doesn't have to be a fight. You spend as much time undoing old habits and building trust as you teach new ones. Ironically, starting a young colt is often easier. Colt is usually a blank slate, no baggage, no confusing cues, no mystery buttons someone else installed years ago. You simply teach the language from the beginning. Eldorado is not a blank slate. Somewhere along the way, somebody spent a lot of time with this horse. The interesting part is figuring out exactly what they taught him. He's got some surprisingly polished skills. His line lunging is excellent. There are a few things he does that tell me someone put a lot of time into expecting precision. Then there's other things you'd expect every riding horse to know that seem less developed. Leading quietly beside the person, backing up consistently, yielding shoulders and other body parts independently. It's almost like somebody specialized in certain lessons and skipped over these entirely. And that creates an interesting challenge. I don't want to erase the good things he's learned. I want to keep those. The trick is filling in the gaps without creating confusion. That means I have to pay attention to how he's interpreting my cues. If he doesn't respond the way I expect, the answer isn't always that he's being stubborn. Sometimes he's answering a completely different question than the one I thought I asked. There have already been a few moments where I've started to correct him for something, only to stop halfway through and wonder if what I'm seeing is actually a taught behavior. That's one of the fun parts of working with horses like Eldorado. Every day feels a little bit like detective work. It's actually been interesting going back and watching these videos while recording the voiceover. When you're in the middle of a training session, you're processing 100 little things at once. Sometimes you don't notice the patterns until you sit down and watch the footage a few days later. One thing that stands out to me now is how Eldorado responds to my rope. He doesn't look scared of it, he looks confused by it. Watching it back, I get the distinct impression that somewhere along the way he may have been taught directional work using a lunge whip or some other cue system. There are a few moments where my rope movement doesn't seem to mean to him what I think it should mean. At the time, I really didn't catch that. Standing in the pen, I was focused on an overall conversation. Watching the video later, it's much easier to see the small details. Honestly, if you're having issues with your own horse, I highly recommend filming yourself. It's amazing how many things become obvious when you no longer try to ride, train, and think and react all at the same time. The camera catches things that your brain completely misses in the moment. And sometimes the horse was telling you exactly what the problem was the whole time. You just needed to watch it back and hear the message. I remember being fairly baffled in the moment that his line lunging was so nice and then followed up with the inability to shoulder yield at all. Watching this back, you can see me try a couple different body positions while asking for that shoulder yield, but I keep applying pressure with the rope in the same place. And of course, 2020 hindsight. At the time, I thought he was showing a little bad behavior when he started pawing at the pressure, just out of frustration. Looking back now, I think he was actually trying to do one of his tricks that someone had taught him before. Whether it was counting or a high step or pawing or something similar, I think he was genuinely trying to find the right answer, and I wasn't asking the question I thought I was. I would highly suggest to anyone that is watching this who is thinking of trick training their horse that they make sure that all the basics are perfected first. Like leading, yielding, backing, moving shoulders and hips, standing quietly. Those are things that are a foundation for everything else. The next trainer, rider, or owner will have a much easier time communicating with your horse, and in the end, your horse will thank you for that. I'm learning about him while he's learning about me. And somewhere between now and October, we'll find out which buttons came pre installed, which ones need updating, and which ones need to be built from scratch. The good news is that when he finally finds his new home, his adopters are going to get a complete owner's manual along with the horse.